All right, everybody. Samori Benjamin here from Madison Square Garden, here with three-time NBA champion Stacy King, and he is also a Chicago Bulls broadcaster right now. Mr. King, it's a pleasure meeting you, first of all. And, as I was saying, I'm from New York, grew up watching Knicks-Bulls rivalries, and, of course, a lot of pain here on this side. But, an amazing experience for you, I know. But first, what's it like when you are at Madison Square Garden, because you have so many great games, I'm sure, playing there?
Well, this is one of the greatest venues in NBA history. This is one of the last standing meccas of basketball. So when you come here, it's like going into the Smithsonian Institute. You're going into history. You're seeing a lot of different things. A lot of people played here. A lot of great players. A lot of great musicians. A lot of great acts. Again, it's a magical place to be.
No doubt. So you're from Oklahoma, right?
Yep, from Oklahoma.
So what was it like being raised in Oklahoma, and how did you get into basketball in Oklahoma growing up?
I come from a military family, so my dad got stationed down there, so I ended up growing up down there, which turned out to be the best thing for me. My mother and my other brothers moved around a lot, and so when me and my little brother came along, we needed a little bit more stability, so we stayed in one place instead of moving every 2 years, and that really helped in my development. I was a football player first, Oklahoma's football state. I always knew I was going to play in the NFL, and once I got too tall, that dream kind of went away, and then it became basketball. And then I had, it takes more than just me. It takes a lot of people that helped me get to where I am today, from teachers to coaches to neighbors to friends. It just wasn't all me.
Yeah, so I'm sure you were a big Sooners fan growing up. So at what point did you, first of all, think you could make it to the NBA, and what point did you start playing football?
Well, I stopped playing football in high school, my junior year. Stopped playing and decided to focus on basketball. My basketball coach told me that my career was in basketball, and I might want to focus on basketball, and I did. And it was the best decision that I've ever made. Basketball, sports in general, motivated me to stay off the streets, stay out of trouble, and to give my family a better life. That was my motivation. It was never about me, never about how many cars I'm going to get, but the big houses, the money. It was always about taking care of my family and getting them out of the situation that we were in.
Okay, now you played for University of Oklahoma on the basketball court, and you made it to the Final Four in '88, the championship game. It's Final Four weekend right now. I mean, what do you remember about your memories playing in the Final Four against Arizona? And Kenny Lofton, I saw him talking the other day, Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott, all those guys, and then playing Danny Manning and them in the championship game.
Well, that was magical times. That was when college basketball, there was no NIL. The guys played for the university, the prestige of the university, and the name on the chest. And that was a magical time in basketball. There was a lot of great teams, a lot of great players came up in the 80s and the 90s. And I was very blessed to play on one of the best teams that ever won a championship. That '88 team was a special team. We finished 36-4. We beat Kansas twice that year, and then we ended up losing to them in the biggest game of the year. But that doesn't diminish how great that team was. Matter of fact, it's ranked in the top 20 of all-time great teams.
Awesome. Yeah, real quick, this weekend, who do you think is going to win the championship?
Well, I think it's going to be the winner out of, I got UConn. I think UConn is a team you got to worry about because they've been there, done that before. They got a great coach, fiery coach, and their players are an extension of the coach. But that Arizona-Michigan game is something to watch. If Michigan gets to the championship game and Illinois gets to the championship game, it'll be the first time since 1988 when we played that there'll be two conference teams playing. So that's something to watch for, too.
No doubt about it. Okay, so now you get drafted to the Chicago Bulls in 1989. Michael Jordan's there. They have not won a championship yet. So what do you remember that moment being like when you were drafted to the Bulls first of all?
Well, just being part of a building something special there. They hadn't won a championship yet. They were getting close, and they needed a couple of pieces. The Bulls got 3 first-round picks that year. They're getting starters, All-Americans coming off these college programs, and we became automatic rotational players. We go straight to the bench. We didn't need to start, and we strengthened our bench. And we lose my first year to Detroit in Game 7, and then next year, that summer, we worked our butts off really hard, became a team. And we didn't look back after that.
Right, and so who were the other 2 first-round draft picks that came in?
It was B.J. Armstrong and Jeff Sanders.
Awesome, nice. Okay, yeah. So, and when your second year, 1991, you guys won the championship against Magic and the Lakers. Won it in 5 games, lose the first game, and then win 4 straight and win in LA. What was it like winning that first championship?
Well, it was a special moment for Chicago. I mean, that was their first championship. They've been close over the years, not being able to pull it off. and to bring a city their first championship was an amazing time, magical time. You know, those Chicago Bulls championship teams, all 6 of them, you can pick one. You know, I know everybody has their favorite, but whenever you win that first one, that's really special.
Yeah, okay, so now, that next year is what made me become a diehard Knicks fan at the time. And, you know, the Knicks first round, you know, Pat Riley's first year, they played the Pistons and beat them in the first round 5 games. Then they played the Bulls, you guys. And game 1, you know, you guys would always like back the Knicks around and whatnot. No one got the Knicks had a chance to beat you guys. Game 1, Knicks go in Chicago, they win. Everybody's stunned. You all end up winning the series in 7, you know, hard-fought games. What do you remember about that series?
Well, I remember the Knicks they felt like they needed to have home court advantage to beat us. They beat us during the regular season, I think 3 or 4 games to nothing. We didn't win a game against them in the regular season. They got home court advantage. They had so much confidence, but we are a championship team. We've been through the wars. We know what it's like to come from adversity. And we felt like no matter what the situation was, we were going to beat them. We come here to New York. They spanked us the first 2 games and looked like they were going to sweep us because that would have made about 5 or 6 games in a row.
And right, and that was 93.
Yeah, 93.
Yeah, 93,
90, was it 92?
92 was when the Knicks took
we had 7 games and they had Xavier McDaniel.
Exactly.
Xavier McDaniel was a big, I mean, that's one of our first times that we went to Game 7.
Yeah. That was the epic series, like I said. And watching that series is what made me become a diehard Knicks fan, because that was riveting stuff, man. It really was. And then next year, you're just talking about Knicks come here, they have the best record in the East in the regular season. They win the first 2 games here, and then you guys go back win 2 in Chicago. And coming into Game 5, the Knicks had won 27 straight home games, right? That's like the longest streak we ever had, I believe, at home. And in Game 5, you all beat them in the Charles Smith game and all that. What do you remember, man, just about, I guess, that game, that series, and then you guys go over the preseason, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, Game 5s are pivotal games. You know, the winner who normally wins Game 5 is going to take control of the series. They served home court and won. We served home court. We felt like coming in Game 5, beating them at home, it would break their spirit, and it did. And they weren't the same team. You know, then we went to Chicago. We closed it out. We won 4 straight. They won the first 2. We won 4 straight, and that broke their spirit.
Or they're like going up against Barkley and the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Johnson, them in the finals.
Again, those are magical times. Those are great players, Hall of Fame players. You know, those series could go either way. When you're in a championship series, it's the best team. Whoever's playing the best at that time, just like in college basketball. We had an ace in our sleeve, Michael Jordan. And every time, you know, whenever the time it looked like you're gonna, you know, you could lose, you just yell domino and throw that number 23 out there, and it was over.
Now, the Chicago Bulls, right? It's been really about 30 years since the '96 team actually set the all-time record 30 years ago. And since the 1998 championship, Bulls haven't won a title. We've had some good teams since then. And then last few years, they even brought DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Vukovic, and that's 3 all-stars right there. Cody White, he's talent, but you know we're not really able to, you know, do as much as people thought maybe. So, what do you think of what do you think that's going to work?
Well, I mean, every team goes through a rebuild process. We've been going through rebuild. You win 6 championships in 8 years. You know, that's hard to do. And at one point in time, you're going to have to rebuild. The Knicks have done it too. You know, the Knicks haven't, you know, they haven't won a championship. They've had to rebuild. You know, they had to rebuild, and they had a great season last year. They're having a great season this year. It's time and patience with the fans, and everything will work out.
Okay, so specifically with DeRozan and LaVine and Vukovic, you know, like 3 all-stars right there. Now I look at it as a basketball fan and think, well, these guys can be really good. You know, DeRozan, he might go to the Hall of Fame when he's done. He's done a lot of perfect things on Saturday. They're all all-stars. Why do you think that those guys together were not able to?
We had a lot of injuries. I mean, you know, I don't want to put blame on anybody. We lose our point guard, Lonzo Ball. That was a huge loss for us. And you know, when you have that many injuries, that happens sometimes. But it's part of the game. You know, it's just part of the game. You play to win, and sometimes it doesn't go your way.
This next team right here, what do you think of them?
They're solid. I mean, they're a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. Their main stars got to play defense, though. If you want to win a championship, you know, cats got to play defense. They got to be 2-way players. You just can't be one-dimensional, because in the playoffs, you get to that semifinal and conference finals, you're playing the best, and your best got to play against their best. If their best beats you, then you're not going to win. And how do you beat them? By playing defense.
Last one for you, Stacy King. What is your favorite Madison Square Garden moment?
beating Knicks in Game 5 in that playoff series and knocking them out.
Right. Normally, I ask people who's the most talented teammate you ever had.
Michael Jordan, you ain't got to ask me, man. Michael Jordan, I got to roll.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Woo.